Hi, this is Renee Stanley for Movie Review Relay, and today we're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Can you believe the reviews are out already? And that's because a lot of reviewers saw it ahead of time. No, I did not see it ahead of time. I'm in New York right now. It's raining cats and dogs outside. But I just want to say one thing. Some of them had some negative reviews. A couple of them had great. But of the 3 films, they're saying that this is probably the weakest one, the weakest link in the trilogy, if you look at the 3 films that were done by James Gunn. All right, so one of the criticisms was, if you're an animal lover, if you have young children who have pets, the Guardians of the Galaxy film, the number 3, the 3rd part, shows Rocket, and this is not a spoiler, it was on a trailer, so I don't know. All right, so it shows Rocket and his other little pet friends, all the animals, being tortured and tormented. All right, so certain people who are very sensitive about pets will not enjoy that. They'll feel a little uncomfortable. So you just might want to think about that if you have children who have pets or who are very sensitive to animals. They may not be happy to see this film. I'm just saying. Will this be the last Guardians of the Galaxy film? I don't think so. They don't make as much money as Endgame or, I don't know, Thor or some of these other movies. But they do have an audience, a core audience that will come to see them. So we'll see. It depends on, of course, how much money comes in. James Gunn, most of you guys know, it's going to DC. So a lot of the fan base is going to be moving with him. James Gunn has a huge following. I'm telling you. People love him. All right, so even with the scandal, I remember the things he wrote online, which was just horrible. Bad boy, James, stop it. However, there are some people who forgave him and just moved right along. All right, so there are 2 post-credit scenes, so stay to the end. All right, you know what to do. You guys remember when Disney Plus did the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special? It will play back to that. I won't tell you who they mentioned, but I think you know. There's a guy, an actor that's very popular within the Galaxy universe. He's our guy. We love him too, but I'm not going to spoil that. I tell you, I don't spoil everything. You guys think I just tell a little bit here and there. Okay? All right, so I just want to start with some legacy films, because while you're waiting to see the big blockbuster, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, there are other films you can see. I've always said this. Check out some of these independent films, all right? The legacy films, I call them legacy films because to me they're made for the express purpose, not necessarily just artistic purposes, but they're trying to leave a mark in history. They want people to remember them. It's very simple. All right, so you got the feature film that came out this week, which is Big George Forman. I love that film. It was so nice. So everyone knows he was the heavyweight champ of the world. And you can't spoil these biographical films unless you guys just don't read history. All right, so George Foreman had his ups and downs in his life. Like so many blacks growing up here in America, you know, he faced racism and all sorts of things like that. He had to overcome poverty and things of that nature. Chris Davis played, Chris with a K, by the way. I'll put the credits down. But Chris played a good part. He played George Foreman very well. I felt his pain. I thought he did a wonderful job. But you know who stole the scene from me? Do you guys remember Sonia Sohn, or Williams? That's her, I think, birth name. She was wonderful. She played George Foreman's mother, and she was just exquisite. I say give her an Oscar nomination, supporting actress, for Big George Forman. Yeah, I know about what happened in North Carolina years ago. You guys need to stop. Most of these guys, most of these actors are going to have some kind of scandal in their lifetime. Just expect it, right? And then just try to get over it. But yeah, Sonia, she was wonderful. And the guy who played Howard Cosell, let's see, who was that? The guy who played Howard Cosell was Matthew Glave. I hope I pronounce his name right. You guys know what I always say. Forgive the old lady. She does the best she can. All right, so He didn't look like Howard Cosell, but I'm old enough to remember Howard Cosell's arrogance. He was always cocky, you know. He was very satirical, you know, always trying to make fun of people. And sometimes, like a lot of people who intend to be humorous, sometimes he was insulting. Yeah, some of you guys remember Howard Cosell. I'm not the only one who remembers Howard Cosell. All right, so he was good, even though he didn't look like him, but he exuded the personality of this radio broadcaster, Howard Cosell. Sullivan Jones played Muhammad Ali, and again, he didn't look like Muhammad Ali, but yeah, you exude the confidence, again, the cockiness. I love it when an actor can just chameleon into a role. I think that's one of their talents, you know? Some of you might remember Sonia from The Wire. Other of you might remember her from the Shaft movie starring Samuel L. Jackson. It was out some years ago. Yeah, I'm going back, I know. But my point is, yes, she was that good. When you see it, you'll understand what I'm saying. Okay. Much love, Sonia. All the best to you, baby girl. So the next legacy film was Air. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, oh, Air, it was about Michael Jordan. It was about him, but the film's main purpose was to highlight the gentleman, Sonny Vaccaro, who masterminded the deal between Nike and Michael Jordan. Some of us learned about this when we went to grad school or to business school if you went to business college. It was land breaking. At that time, nobody else was doing that. Now, everyone's doing it. Everybody wants a piece of the action on retail sales and things like that. But yes, he was one of the ones who was responsible, at least he's getting credit for it. And he also is responsible for these college kids now being able to market their image. Because before they got nothing, the college got all the money and they did all the footwork, you know. All right, so that's Sonny's legacy film. It's called Air. Matthew Damon plays Sonny. And they featured Viola Davis, the great, the beautiful, Viola Davis. She was wonderful as she played the strong mother of Michael Jordan. So everyone loved her in that. And you love Viola all the time. She's just a wonderful presence. She's going to be a legend if she's not already, okay? So she was wonderful. Ben Affleck did a wonderful job in directing. But those two guys, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, they're veteran filmmakers. You expect nothing less, okay? Expect nothing less. Chris Tucker was in it, but Chris Tucker, we love him. Who doesn't love Chris Tucker? Raise your hand. But Chris Tucker, you were, man, when you say man, you take me out of movies. Because if anyone's ever seen Chris Tucker's comedy routine, he normally uses man is the heading or the ending of it, one of his jokes, because he's that wonderful. So he's Chris Tucker. Yeah, that's who he is. All right, every day of the week. All right. Jason Bateman, love him, always loved him, and he plays a part that's almost stereotypical of him. He's a marketer. He's a salesman. He can sell anything to anybody. He really is that good. Nice soundtrack. Oh yeah, you got that good 80s music. Chaka Khan, Ain't Nobody. That song, Whip It. Guys remember Whip It? Whip It real good. Cyndi Lauper, Time After Time. I love Cyndi. Yeah, I do. She's wonderful. I use a W word, that's right. She's great. Okay, so anyway, that's Air. That's another legacy movie. As I said, you can see that. That's still in theaters. Another legacy film that maybe you guys haven't heard of, because I've never heard of it, was Sweetwater. So Nate Clifton was a Globetrotter. He wanted to join the NBA because of racism. Of course, they didn't want any black players in the NBA. Even though the black players on a normal circumstance would always beat out the white teams, their counterparts, all right? But he was upset about that for years. He was the first one to sign with the NBA. Now, I think there was some trickery that went on during that time. It was 1950s, 60s, something like that. All right, so the trickery was that they they played someone else before Nate got a chance to debut, you know, behind all the publicity and everything. So they didn't do him right. It happens all the time. It's unfortunate. All right. So he ended up, they showed the real Nate, and he's driving a cab as he might. This was years ago. I don't know if he's still alive. I guess you could look it up if you're interested. But anyway, he ended up driving a cab. That was how he ended up. He didn't end up like Michael Jordan, you know, with millions of dollars and stuff like that. He was struggling right to the end, from what I understand. He did get to go to the White House, you know, where they give the awards to athletes and things like that. So he was able to do that, but he didn't get the financial awards that a lot of other athletes are getting, like today. Okay, so that's Nate Clifton's legacy film. Let's see, who played Nate? Do I have it on here? I'll leave it in the credits. Everyone knows that John Wick is still in theaters. I already did the review. I'll leave the link, maybe a couple weeks back, whenever I did it. And Angela and I did a conversation about Beau is Afraid, which is somewhat spoiler-y, and I don't think you can discuss that film. It's such a complicated film unless you spoil it. So therefore, we have all types of warnings on the title, on the podcast, because it was a podcast. But anyway, I'll leave the link for that as well. The last legacy that we're going to explore is the record producer for Casablanca Records, founder Neil Bogart. Now, Neil said he inspired all these musical icons of years past, like in the 70s, Donna Summer. You had the Kiss, Village People, Gladys Knight and the Pips, the Isley Brothers, and the Parliament. You know, that's what George Clinton are. They're so funky. Music is so wonderful. People still enjoy it today. All right, so a lot of people feel as if, well, maybe Neil did, and maybe he didn't. Very few people want to believe that Neil, you had Donna Summer in the studio, you put her on the floor, and you showed her how to do like, because she was singing that song, Love to Love You, Baby, and it's very erotic, you know, it's a very sexy song. And you kind of showed her how to kind of, I don't want to say have an orgasm while you're singing, but that's what it sounded like. Okay, so you guys can take that with a grain of salt. Neil Bogart is claiming responsibility for that. Okay, so Isley Brothers are still alive. I guess we could ask them, you know, once we interview them, we could ask them, or you can direct message them and say, did Neil Bogart inspire you? Because the Isley Brothers have so much talent, and they're so funky and such wonderful songwriting. I don't know if he inspired them. He might have helped them because, of course, a lot of black artists needed to join up with the white groups, white distributors and record radio stations, people like that, okay? They had to do that. That was just the way it was. The white folks had everything. Some would argue they still do. But even Motown had to use covers sometimes. They would use a white person on the cover so that the white radio stations would play their music. Yeah, even though the black guys might have been singing it. So that happened. This is part of our history, guys. And the problem that I have with the legacy films, I love history. I love historical things. I love for people to tell me about them. However, if you have something to say and it's a 3-minute statement about what you did, I inspired the Isley Brothers, or I inspired Donna Summer. It don't take 2 hours to say that. It don't take 90 minutes. I think that's maybe why people may not want to sit through that. Because if I want to just listen to their music, I don't have to listen to do-overs with contemporary artists, which is some of what they did. They didn't always use original music. They used some new artists. The new artists are beautiful. They're wonderful. But if I can now, unless you can do it better, I don't know. I can just listen to Donna Summer Remastered or the Isley Brothers. They have such a big catalog. I can just enjoy them. George Clinton, same thing. I don't know if I need you to redo it over and then give it to me as a movie. And then again, I'm missing the original artists who did it. I would rather hear them sing it. I'm not the only one that feels that way, by the way. So, but that's what I noticed when I went to talk to people who saw it. If you're in the mood for something scary, you might want to see The Pope's Exorcist, which starred Russell Crowe. It's based on a true story. Father Gabriel Amorth, which is who Russell Crowe played, he was the top exorcist. He performed over 100,000 exorcisms. Did I say that right? Old lady does the best she can. All right, so the thing about this film is you only want to see it if you are a loyal Russell Crowe fan. It could have been better. See how I said that? I didn't say it was awful. I'm just saying it could have been better. Yeah, okay? I'm going to leave it like that because I don't like to dwell on negative stuff. Move on to the next thing here. If you want to see horror and you love all the tropes that are involved with the horror film, the jump scares, all the blood, the suspenseful moments, Warner Brothers distributed a New Line Cinema movie called Evil Dead Rise. That was better, or I shouldn't say better, I don't like to use that word, but I would say that was a more palatable film if you're looking for the horror genre. If you're looking in that genre, I would say that was more horror-oriented than The Pope's Exorcist. Yeah, that's the way I feel. All right, so you can see that. It was so cute, lots of beautiful cast members. Let's see who was in that film. Lily Sullivan, Alicia Sutherland, Morgan Davis, Gabriel Eccles, Neil Fisher. Good-looking kids. And the mother, okay, so the movie was about the demons. They possess the mother. You know, she's a goner. She's kind of like a zombie, but not. But she was so pretty before that, you know, before they distorted her face and everything. She's a good-looking kid. All right, so I have her credits, and the kids are so cute. I'll try to put some pictures. If not, I'll just have the guys put down the names, and you can look at them separately. Here's the thing. The trailer shows a lot of it. So some of it you would have seen already, like many trailers do, but there's still some surprises in it. Whereas, let's say The Pope's Exorcist, I don't know if it had as many surprises, you know? Evil Dead Rise had so many ways that somebody could die. So you're gonna enjoy that if you like the horror genre. And we just wanna mention, some of us do the best we can when we're fighting for issues that we care closely about. Martin Luther King, all of us remember how he eventually died fighting the civil rights fight. Medgar Evers, I mean, we can go on and on. Andrew Goldman, no, what is Andrew's last name? All right, so I'll put it down. These are civil rights guys. A lot of civil rights workers, the Mississippi burning guys. All right, so I'll put their names down. But anyway, they lived short lives, but significant lives. They tried to help others the best they could. And that's all we can do in this world. We're gonna try to help people, but everyone is not able to do that. Some of us have physical ailments, some of us have mental, emotional situations. But these people who put their life on the line to help someone else, what a life well lived. I say that because Harry Belafonte passed away, and he was one of those people. Maybe he wasn't able to get out there with Martin Luther King, even though he was, but I'm just saying maybe he wasn't able to go and to preach everywhere. You know, he was trying to work, he had family, children, whatever. But whatever you can do, whatever is within your power, you do it. If you have a conviction, if you have a moral compass, always do the best you can to try to make the world a better place. A lot of people will tell you, that's all I did was try to make the world a better place. I tried. Did I succeed? Maybe not. It's okay. But I did try. And don't let anyone tell you I didn't. Oh, I think that's a life well lived. And so, yeah, people know him for his singing and his acting. but the later generations know him as an activist because that's what he did. He tried to help somebody in this world before he left here. All right, so also Jerry Springer died. Now, Jerry Springer, well, I can't say he was a civil rights activist, but he did have a moral compass. I did see him, if there was a lie or something, he would confess or whatever he did. Another thing about Jerry Springer was he was liberal. If there was an issue that wasn't popular, he would take up that issue and he would speak on things that were wrong. Which you don't see today. He was an educated man. He was the mayor of Cincinnati. Everyone knows him for the television show where, you know, it was just people would get upset, you know, because, you know, it was a reality show. So he would say, yeah, you're the father, or you don't have the business doing this or that, or whatever it was. And sometimes they would be violent. So they would call his show The Circus, whatever it was. But anyway, yeah, Jerry Springer, God bless. Rest in peace, Jerry Springer and our guy, Harry Belafonte, all right? And now, you guys should be watching the dinner, the Correspondence Dinner in Washington. Roy Wood, who is Symone Sanders' cousin, yeah. Symone is too much. She mentioned it on her show to let you know, yeah, that's my real cousin. Symone, I love you, girl. All right, daughter. So Symone mentioned that Roy Wood was her cousin. He's doing the Correspondence Dinner tonight. I guess when you guys see it, it'll be the next day. But anyway, you can always rerun it, right? It's always on C-SPAN, things like that, okay? What else? Did we go all the movies in the theater? Mario Brothers is just an animated reboot. Everyone knows the games and everything. And the kids enjoyed it. And they enjoy most anything that's animated like that. I have to say, it's colorful. You got the music going. The kids have a good time between the popcorn and everything else. So that's another film. I forgot to mention that one. All right. So, and I think I covered everything in the theater right now this week. And we'll see you later in the week for Guardians of the Galaxy review. We'll do the first part. And then at the end, you know, we'll let you know with the cakes and stuff when the spoilers are coming along. Okay? So that would be fun because, you know, I love a good spoiler. I just do. No. I'm sad. Until we meet again, it's Renee Stanley for Movie Review Relay. God bless. Hi, this is Renee Stanley for Movie Review Relay. And we're here today to talk about George Forman. We're going to talk about Air. We're going to talk about Mario Brothers. We're going to talk about Harry Belafonte, Jerry Springer, Spinning Gold. We got a bunch of stuff. They're still in the theater. Guardians of the Galaxy will be out next week. But there's a lot of stuff that you guys can see. You don't have to just wait around for the big blockbusters. Check out some of these independent films. Why don't you? All right? Okay, here we go.